Alright, welcome back to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, where now I will once again be retrieving the missing amulet that one of these tribesmen was sent out to collect, but failed to. Due to recording issues, this is actually my second time attempting this, because the first time, apparently NVIDIA Shield decided, NVIDIA's Force Experience decided it rather wanted to update itself rather than actually record gameplay footage. And so I ended up with nothing. So hopefully that essentially means I will suck a little bit less. We'll see how that goes. I'll also try to remember what the hell I said, and hopefully it was any good. Ah, damn it. I spoke way too soon. Although that could also be me rushing in this case. I don't think I grabbed that on my first try. So, in this section, like, you're told this guy has been missing for 2 weeks.
During a fierce battle, a man of two bloods throws down his weapons and, speaking with passions, convinces the other warriors to do the same. They follow him from the battlefield into the city, where they behead several merchants whose initial bickering caused the war.
Oh yeah, a man of two bloods. That kind of reminds me of the villain of the story, Dominguez. He was born in the village, but he was raised in the outside world, almost as if he is a man of two origins. As if that's kind of like a mirror to his story. Now, you see these traps that have been activated, and you're like, hey, I'm probably going to run into this, this fellow who's been missing for 2 weeks. He's probably dead. Probably really, really dead. But, in fact, he just comes back home once this mission is done.
This shows a pilgrimage from a great city. This must be Manco, leading the priestess's ancestors out of Cusco.
In fact, not only does he show up 2 weeks later, alive.
No one's been through here in centuries. This has to be the right place.
Not only does almost snagged that one. Not only does he come back alive and mostly well, he shows up injured. He shows up empty-handed. Like, what on earth was he doing in all this time?
This could be an effigy of the peasant savior. It might have been stolen by the cult of Kukulkan to keep the Paititians from worshipping it. Or maybe it was given to them as payment for protection.
It may have been. There's no way we could truly tell the truth of this story. Which way was correct? Oh yeah, this way just leads to money. You'd think it'll lead to items that have storyline significance, artifacts, but nope. Cash. So yeah, he shows up 2 weeks later, empty-handed. What was he doing all that time? Where was he? If he knew the general direction of where to go, and then gave up.
Resting place. This looks suspicious.
Even if you jump off of the bridge without even touching it, you still set off the trap. They were not expecting somebody to actually play through this section again so quickly. Let's hit that switch.
No.
Which, this is an impressive gizmo, considering the fact that it not just seals in the chamber, but it also fills it with water, without having that water spill out anywhere. You'd think, you'd worry that, like, water would somehow... Like, I guess there are plenty of waterfalls in this area, so... There are plenty of sources of water they could have gotten it from. And we got this.
The Order left members behind as sentinels when they sealed the system. All these bones, they sacrificed themselves to protect this place.
We've tried everything. We've tried praying to the gods, ritual sacrifice, but nothing seems to be working. I wonder, like, what point somebody decided that ritual sacrifice was in fact the solution. Like, what causes somebody to consider the idea that ritual sacrifice is the solution to their problems?
Now, where's the amulet?
Where they're like, hey, people seem to be dying for mysterious reasons. The only way to solve this is to have more people die.
Now, to get this back to Uchu.
For completely unrelated reasons.
Another sealed off passageway, I bet.
Alright. So now that I got this silver amulet, and I got the horn from the previous time because that's what the king needs in order to prove himself the king. It's not just about who you are or what you believe in. It's also about what objects you have that are important to the king and royalty. Doing. Alright, now I'm back in town and I can finally turn in this quest again.
Ah, Lara. Quentin returned a short while ago. Little worse for wear, but alive. I'm glad to see you're okay as well.
That system is quite a challenge. I'm happy Quentin made it back.
But without the Savior's amulet, I'm afraid.
You mean this Savior's amulet?
What?
Amazing. Now we will not have to banish Quentin from the village forever.
Enough. When Zan returns with the champion's bow, we will honor all of the gatherers, including you, if you join us.
Luckily, I don't have to worry about the champion's bow. Luckily, I can just continue on with the story.
What are we doing here? I never wanted this to happen. Now Etzli's been captured.
Etzli's a strong kid.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a warrior.
Eh,
I know. I still hate this.
she can't talk and chew gum, I suppose.
I hope he's okay.
Me too. Uchu's confident they can get him out.
Don't worry, they will, but there will be complications. Alright, now it's time to head over to the barracks thing, which promises to have bad guys, and it does, but not quite as many as you'd think. Especially for a place called a barracks. Ah, that's just a regular hole in the wall.
Jonah, I think I'm close to the mine entrance.
Uchu says it's at the edge of the mountain. He sends a rebel ahead to open it.
Thanks.
Just a miscellaneous rebel he happened to have on hand. He's good. That guy was just too busy playing his drum.
I'll need to be careful.
I'm always careful. When am I not careful? Careful, of course, means preparing your guns. Which I suppose would have confirmed that you were an outsider, and not just, like, one of the people. I'm guessing that's why she kind of stowed it away. And, of course, it's having some corpses and skeletons as decoration. Always good to have on hand. It's also a good thing that nobody noticed pieces of the building break off, because I'm sure pieces of these buildings break off all the time.
Unuratu just left with Hakan. She'll be ready when you open the gate.
Like, nobody's worried about that sort of business anymore. And which way do I go? I go up. Truly. I haven't tried this spot here. Which is useful because their mask deflects bullets and arrows, which becomes problematic if you want to be stealthy. But you can still stab them in the face. And let's
Careful.
and what do I do? Oh yeah, that's how I make one of these. Okay. Not quite as clean as I wanted, but he's dead. If there were other guys, then I might have been a little bit more screwed, but it was just the two of us. Now this upcoming section,
Space for that.
well, there's going to be a few more people.
There's a gate I need to open.
I know. They dissected me way faster this time. And are they able to do anything about me? The answer... Oh, there's some mud. I didn't know that. Noticed that the first time.
Now, I need to open that gate.
Alas, my first time through here was slightly better. But not by much. I think I managed to, like, stealth kill, like, a couple guys. Alright.
Gate mechanism might be on the top of that wall.
It might be. But am I willing to take that risk? And what's kind of disappointing about this section Because that's all the guys that you fight. That's it. And then you're done fighting dudes. At least for a little bit. That kind of rhymed. And now to open up the gate so that rescue can ensue, which is a lot easier than expected, but again, complications. Now, it would have been interesting if there was like an extended part in which you have to protect these guys from guards. You're like taking guys out from above because your path happens to lead them from a different path down a different way than their path. Now, that doesn't mean that they're helpless. They're still fighting for themselves. But like maybe they're stuck behind cover or something, and they maybe can take out like 1 or 2 guys. Instead, this scene gets relegated to a cutscene. This part gets just cutscene material.
Mother! Would you get him out of here?
And Lara doesn't really get to try. Instead, she gets captured by the enemy.
Jonah.
How's Edsley?
Fine. They got him out, but Unaratu was captured.
Oh no. Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm going after the box. I don't know how long it'll take.
Do what you have to.
Thanks. The Eye of the Serpent. That's it.
Gotta say, pretty landscape. Nope. Although I noticed there's a lot of these parts where you're like jumping onto a ledge, and when you grab on, she kind of like flails about. And back in the day, that would mean that you would have to like press X to stay on. But and I think this game does show you that sort of function still exists, but it's never really used. Which I suppose that damn it. I don't know. That seemed like a soccer injury to me. Like there's no way that she would have hit the stone that hard. Like you build up momentum first. So the button you press to let go of the rope is also the button to dodge. That's my excuse for dying at that moment. And falling into this really nice looking soapy water. It's not actually too bad to look at. Like when it starts interacting with the rocks, then you can kind of see the sprites and everything. But overall, pretty cool. Now if I ever play Alan Wake for this channel, then you'll see really, really bad water.
Looks like this is the only way, okay?
Whee! Although that's something that video games have kind of always been challenged with, is the elements of like water and fire. How do you make active, almost chaotic elements look good? I remember there was a game on the 360 called was it called hydrophobia? And it was supposed to give you like super realistic water physics. I don't think it necessarily. I don't remember it, hearing about it actually succeeding that well, or maybe it wasn't able to combine the water physics with the game. I mean, when you keep things simple, like mud physics, like mud stealth in this game.
Looks like there's a temple down there.
No, that's actually naturally formed out of the rock. And once again, see note.
I got Unuratu captured. What's Dominguez gonna do with her? As long as he needs the box, he'll keep her alive. I hope.
Thank you for watching. If you've still got the itch for more content, why not give one of those links a try? Got some questions or comments? You can comment down below or send it on over to itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. That's itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. In the meantime, so long, folks.